It's good afternoon, Natalia Rachel. Welcome to Yellow Shelf.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
My pleasure to have you here. Your latest book, Other Lovers, is out now. Tell us all about it.
Mother Lovers is the first in a contemporary romance fiction trilogy. And the book and the entire trilogy is a social commentary on love in the modern world, particularly from the viewpoint of the mature and conscious woman. And so while it's a contemporary romance story, it definitely has a bit of a psychology and sociology lens. So the book begins with our main character, Lena, who is halfway across the world as an expat in Singapore, realizing that she needs to leave her marriage. And the whole rest of the book is essentially her journey of learning that she needs to do a lot of healing if she's ever to become available for love again. And so she eventually unpacks her marriage and her divorce and her childhood and all of the things to help her finally become available to meet the right person when he arrives. And she's luckily surrounded by a group of girls. So there are four other female characters who are her besties that are also trying to redesign love rather than being designed by it. And I think that the journey that these women are on is it resonates with a lot of women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who are questioning how relationships should look and feel like. So I hope it's something that many women out there connect to, even though it's so real from this beautiful, playful, spicy, poetic lens.
Yeah. And I read the book's been described as a literary contemporary relationship fiction. Fair to say it's a book about navigating that idea of desire and jealousy, in a non-monogamous relationship.
Yeah, all of the different women are on different journeys. So Lena's trying to stop choosing the wrong man and she's exploring, should I try ethical non-monogamy or should I try and catch my next husband right away? I think what the book does, it explores the tension that women hold between should I follow what I've been conditioned to believe, or should I follow another path, this new world of situationships and ethical non-monogamy? Should I choose to be with another woman? Who knows? And I guess the point is to explore that tension and allow whatever is true and real for us to unfold in its own time, rather than love being so prescriptive.
Yes. And Natalia, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself? You've written other books. I'd love you to share you as an author and anything we need to know about you.
So I've certainly been on a journey as a writer and an author. I first started writing when I was 7, and I used to write poetry to make sense of the world. So I'd be sitting in the playground at play lunch and lunchtime with a little pencil and a notepad, just wondering what the F is going on in this world. Though, of course, I didn't say F back
Yeah,
then. So
yeah.
that's sort of when it started. I trained in my early 30s as a therapist, and I had very distinct ideas on trauma and healing and culture. So I started writing many articles, and at first they were on my website. And then they started getting shared in more wider spaces. And then in 2021, I got my first book deal, which was with Penguin Random House, and wrote the book Why Am I Like This? Illuminating the Traumatized Self, which is sort of part psychology, self-help, and part memoir. And so that came out in 2022, and it's something I'm really proud of. It is, though, I think quite a heavy book,
Yeah.
but it's sort of meant to be a companion for people that are on their own healing journey that maybe can't afford therapy or in therapy, but it's not touching on that really, really deep level. So the book, in a lot of detail, answers the question, why am I like this? Because so many of us have that in our minds.
Yes.
We're like, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? We live in this sort of world that is very pathologizing. So we tend to self pathologize. And so I really wanted to shift that. And I knew I wanted to write a book for a very long time
Yeah.
about love. And I'd been making little notes and
Yeah.
saving them in a Word document for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then, surprise, surprise, this book started with my own break. So an international situationship went wrong,
Wow.
ended.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because it was one of the first times in my life that I said no to something because it felt like it didn't nourish or respect me. But on the other side of my verbalized no was just tears and
Yeah.
tears and tears and poetry. And
Wow.
I was sitting by the beach in Sydney at Coogee, where I live, every morning, just writing and crying and writing and crying, calling a friend, will you listen to my poem? Um, and after a couple of months, I had 60 poems and I wasn't sure what it was. Um, so I decided to sort of give myself this creative gift of a month on an island in Croatia to write. And I
Nice.
knew it wanted to become something. And on the way to Croatia, I stopped in Singapore, where I lived for many, many years, and most of my close friends are still based there. And I was having dinner and drinks by the water with my global girl group. And we were talking about husbands, exes, lovers, boyfriends, and we were laughing and we were crying and we were snorting. And I just had this epiphany moment of this is the book.
Yes.
These women are the book. It's like a modern Sex in the City, but with more
Yeah.
consciousness and less shoes, though I still do really like shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I knew I needed to go and develop these female characters that were kind of representative or inspired by the very sort of diverse women that are in my life that are also really asking this question of
Yeah.
why doesn't love feel the way it's meant to? And so it was this huge creative opening to take these poems and these ideas to Croatia, and just begin this journey of what has become the Love, Sex, Poetry, Peace trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's been
And you
fun. It's
mentioned,
been fun.
oh, that's so good. That's the most important thing sometimes, isn't it? It's a part of your journey to deliver. Tell us a bit about the trilogy. So that what the book's out now, the other books are coming out later on. Do you want to sort of mention that?
Sure. So, Other Lovers, the first book is out now, and it's largely the journey of doing all of the healing work you need to do in order to become available
Yeah,
to love
right.
well.
Yeah.
The second book, and there's a lot of spice and there's a lot of sex, and
Yes. Yeah.
it is a spicy
Yeah.
read, but I think it's also quite a heart-tugging read.
Yeah.
The second book is called No Other Lovers. And quite early on in No Other Lovers, Lena, our protagonist, meets a nice, healthy, emotionally available man. And her inner monster bitch comes up. And, she has to work through all of the ways she usually pushes love away and sabotages relationships. So she's sort of working through that piece. And the third book is called More Than Lovers.
Okay.
And that one I'll be writing in June this year. So No Other Lovers comes out globally in September. In
Yep.
June, I'll be writing the third book, which should come out sometime in 2027. And More Than Lovers really explores, I guess, the longevity of relationships and brings in a generational element as we age, as our children grow, as it's no longer about excitement or beginnings. It's about how do we let love breathe through all the
Yeah.
phases or seasons of life.
Yes. So true. The seasons of love life. Uh,
Yes.
Look, I'm going to just be bold and say, will you promise to come back and talk about the other books as they come out? Because I would love to make space to be able to share the trilogy series. I think that'd be fabulous. Natalia, tell us how we connect with you, the book. I was looking at your website, looking all the fabulous work you've done, but point us in the direction of any links, Instagram. Where would you like to go if we're curious, watching anywhere in the world? How do we connect with you?
So to buy the book, the easiest place will be Amazon, but it is on all major retailers globally. If you'd like to follow my work, you can come to the website, which is nataliarachel.com, or Instagram, which is at Natalia_Rachel_change, or I'm on LinkedIn as well, which is where I'm most prolific with sharing all of my ideas about all sorts of things.
Yeah, I encourage people to connect with you on LinkedIn. You write some great stuff.
Thank you.
Natalia, please come back. Enjoy the journey of other lovers. Thank you for sharing today. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, and I'll see you for the next book.
Cheers.